terrifying version with extra twists and a chilling ending. Enjoy the nightmares. Whispers in the walls. The house on Blackwood Lane had been abandoned for decades. At least that's what everyone thought. When Daniel Hayes saw the listing, he couldn't believe his luck. A sprawling Victorian mansion at a fraction of its value. It was too good to pass up. His sister, Emily, wasn't so convinced. Old houses don't just sit empty for years without a reason, she warned as they walked through the dust-covered corridors. Daniel rolled his eyes. It's probably just rumours, people love a good ghost story, but something about the house felt wrong. The silence was too deep, the air too still. It was as if the house were listening. But that night, Daniel lay in bed, the house creaking around him. He drifted off quickly, but his sleep was restless. Then, sometime past midnight, "Daniel!" His eyes snapped open, a whisper, soft, almost affectionate. He sat up, straining to hear. Nothing. A shiver crawled up his spine. He glanced at the door, half expecting to see someone standing there. But he was alone. Shaking his head, he lay back down. "Just the wind," he muttered, but deep inside, a seed of unease had been planted. "Hush, the whispers grow." The next night it returned. "Daniel?" This time it was clearer. He bolted upright, heart hammering. The whisper hadn't come from the hallway. It had come from inside the walls. He pressed his ear against the wallpaper. Nothing. But as he pulled away, "Let me out." Daniel stumbled back, his breath coming fast. The next morning he searched every inch of the house, knocking on walls, checking air vents, even prying open floorboards. Nothing. And yet each night the whispers returned. "It's so dark in here. I'm so cold. Come closer." The voice was always the same, soft, pleading. But then, on the fifth night, something changed. The scratching begins. It started as a faint scraping sound. At first, Daniel thought it was mice, but then he realised it was coming from inside the walls. He lay awake, listening as it moved through the house, shifting behind the plaster. The sound would stop, and then suddenly start right next to him. Then came the laughter. A low, breathy giggle. One night, as he passed the hallway, something made him stop. The wallpaper, old and faded, was moving, bulging outward as if something behind it were pressing against it. His throat went dry. Then, screech! A long, jagged tear split open. A single skeletal hand pushed through, fingers twitching. Daniel staggered back, choking on a scream. Then 2 sunken eyes appeared through the slit. A smile stretched across the figure's face, too wide, too unnatural. "Finally," it whispered. The lights flickered. The air turned ice cold. The thing moved. Daniel ran. He bolted down the stairs, but the whispers followed, swirling around him, growing louder. "You let me out! Now, let me in." He reached the front door, fumbling with the lock, but his fingers were numb. The house breathed around him, the walls shuddering. Then, cold hands grabbed his shoulders. Daniel screamed. The house remained silent. Days later, Emily arrived after Daniel stopped responding to her texts. She found the front door slightly open. Inside, the house was silent. Dust covered everything, untouched. But in the upstairs hallway, she noticed something strange. A long, jagged tear in the wallpaper, and beside it, Daniel's phone. Heart pounding, she reached out, running her fingers over the torn fabric. It felt damp, as if something had breathed on the other side. Then, "Emily," a whisper from inside the walls. Her blood turned to ice. She stumbled back, her foot knocking against something. A single footprint in the dust, not hers, not Daniel's. The dust in the house had been undisturbed, no sign of struggle, but there, leading into the wall, were Daniel's footprints. As if he had walked straight in. The final wisp, Emily ran. She fled the house, never looking back. But sometimes, late at night, she dreams of it, of the whispering, of Daniel's voice calling her name. And worse, she wakes up to find her bedroom walls scratching. Want another twist, or is that enough nightmare fuel?